Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning, good morning. It looks like we're up and running. I normally come on here a few minutes early, but I was having some difficulty with my camera this morning, so I'm here right at 9. So maybe I'll wait a couple minutes before I get started, just to let some people join. Because I know I'm starting a little bit late. Excuse me, sorry. So we'll start at like 9:02 this morning or something then, I suppose. Yeah. If you're watching this after the live, then you can take this time to get yourself a warm drink or something. Okay, good morning. Good morning. All right, well, it looks like people are starting to tune in. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. Sorry for the sort of right on the dot start this morning. Normally I'd come on a bit earlier. But as I was saying, I was having a bit of trouble with my camera for some reason. Facebook didn't want to use it, so I just had a bit of last minute tech adjustments to do. But it looks like we're good now. So good morning. Again, my name is Jane. I'm a third-year psychology student at the University of Ottawa. My pronouns are she and her. And this morning I am joined by my dog, Harry, who's just out of the frame, but he's curled up in some blankets right now. So if you hear any barking or any noises at any point this time in our live stream, it's him, it's Harry. He's quite a talkative dog. So he'll be tuning in, but of course if he starts to chat too much, I'll ask him to relocate. Good morning! It's great to have you. I'm so glad everyone's tuned in today. Like the video said, as you probably know, I'll be reading aloud some poetry today. Yeah, I guess before we get started, I also just wanted to drop a quick book recommendation because hopefully if you're here, you're a fan of literature in some way, and I recently read From the Ashes by Jessie Thistle, Canadian author. I think it was on CBC's top nonfiction of the past year or something. Anyways, I read it for a book club I'm in, and it was great. Would highly recommend. Definitely, I'll give like content warning. There's some difficult subject matter for sure, but he just does it's just a beautifully written book, and it's autobiographical. He writes about his experience with racism in Canada as a Métis man, and about his experience with homelessness, and it's just very well written. So that's my that's my advice for the day. That's my book recommendation for today. Would highly recommend. The lines of the library are quite long, so I'd request it while you can if you want to read it. Yeah. So I guess if people are ready, I'll get started with some poetry reading today. And as I mentioned, if you have any recommendations or anything you'd like me to read, good morning. It's great to see you here. Thanks for joining. Sorry, I'm just replying to the comments as they come up, so if it's a little delayed, sorry about that. Yeah, so if you have any recommendations, any short stories or poems or pretty much anything that's short that you'd like me to read, feel free to drop it in the comment box. If you don't have the full text, I can even try looking things up. So yeah, let me know. But I do, of course, have some poems prepared as well. Yeah, so the first one I have for this morning is called The Happiest Day, and it's by Linda Patson. It was early May, I think, a moment of lilac or dogwood, when so many promises were made it hardly matters if a few are broken. My mother and father still hovered in the background, part of the scenery like the houses I had grown up in. And if they would be torn down later, that was something I knew but didn't believe. Our children were asleep or playing, the youngest as new as the new smell of the lilacs, and how could I have guessed their roots were shallow and would be easily transplanted? I didn't even guess that I was happy. The small irritations are like salt or melon. The small irritations that are like salt on melon, were what I dwelt on, though in truth they simply made the fruit taste sweeter. So we sat on the porch in the cool morning, sipping hot coffee. Behind the news of the day, strikes and small wars afire somewhere, I could see the top of your dark head and thought not of public conflagrations, but of how it would feel on my shoulder. If someone could stop the camera then, if someone could only stop the camera and ask me, "Are you happy?" Perhaps I would have noticed how the morning shone in the reflected color of lilac. Yes, I might have said, and ordered a steaming cup of coffee. I think that's a good cue to take a sip of coffee here. All right. And just a reminder as well, if at any point I'm going too slow or too fast, usually my tendency is to speed up, but if I overcompensate and I'm going too slow, feel free to let me know. I will not be offended. I want to keep my pace in mind. So thanks. All right, the second poem for today is called Splitting an Order. It's by Ted Kooser. I like to watch a man cutting a sandwich in half, maybe an ordinary cold roast beef on whole wheat bread. No pickles or onions, keeping his shaky hands steady by placing his forearms firm on the edge of the table, and using both hands, the left to hold the sandwich in place, and the right to cut it surely, corner to corner, observing his progress through glasses that moments before he wiped with his napkin, and then to see him lift half onto the extra plate that he had asked the server to bring, and then to wait, offering the plate to his wife while she slowly unrolls her napkin and places her spoon, her knife, and her fork in their proper places, then smooths the starched white napkin over her knees, and meets his eyes and holds out both old hands to him. I like this sort of, as you've probably noticed if you've tuned into these before, I like this sort of simple descriptions poetry, I guess. I don't know if there's a fancier name for that, but I do really enjoy that. This one is called Mice by Rose Fileman. I think mice are rather nice. Their tails are long, their faces small. They haven't any chins at all. Their ears are pink, their teeth are white. They run about the house at night. They nibble things they shouldn't touch, and no one seems to like them much. But I think mice are rather nice. That one was actually, I was talking to my mom the other day, and I talked about how I was going to be reading some poetry, and she immediately recited this mouse poem that I guess they had to memorize in school. But I thought it was sort of funny and cute, and yeah, so I thought I'd share it, even if maybe it's a slightly more juvenile, more childish one. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in today. So there's mice. I'm also trying to get my animal representation in. Last time I read about cats and dogs, and we had some fans of rats, so I'll have to keep expanding my animal poem repertoire there. This one is called This Is Just to Say by William Carlos Williams. I read a different poem of his in our last Poetry Read Aloud a couple of weeks ago. I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox, in which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me. They were delicious, so sweet, and so cold. It was so cute with a little mouse emoji. It is, it's a little short, cute poem. This is another sort of short, cute one, called Snowball by Shel Silverstein. I made myself a snowball, as perfect as can be, and thought I'd keep it as a pet and let it sleep with me. I made it some pajamas and a pillow for its head. Then last night it ran away, but first it wet the bed. I was trying to pick some seasonal themed poems for today, and I wasn't sure as I was deciding this in the past week, should I have more winter, snowy themed ones, or are we still in fall, autumn poetry? So I've gone for a bit of a compromise, but leaning towards snow, as you can see, because it is definitely not autumn cold anymore. I think it's getting to be winter cold. But I'm going to be in denial as much as possible. Love that one. Yeah, I like the snowball one too. It's kind of cute. Alright. Sort of a different feel for this next one. This is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Again, I think I read a different one of his in our last read aloud, but this one's also, I think, quite well known. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His village is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep. And miles to go before I sleep. Oh, Natalie's a Frost fan. That's great. I love Frost as well. He has some really, really nice poems. I'll have to pick some more out for the future, because, yeah, such nice imagery. Okay, this next one's a little more philosophical, I guess. So some wise words from someone wiser than me. Desiderata by Max Ehrmann is this next one. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the faces of all aridity and disenchantment, it is perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imagings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with spirit, whatever you conceive it to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. All right. Another sort of famous poet for the day, we have Walt Whitman. So I won't be reading this full one because it was quite long, but here's sort of a snippet, if you will, from Walt Whitman's Song of the Open Road. I'm going to take a sip of coffee first, though. I do not offer the old smooth prizes, but offer rough new prizes. These are the days that must happen to you. You shall not heap up what is called riches. You shall scatter with lavish hand all that you earn or achieve, however sweet the laid-up stones, however convenient the dwellings. You shall not remain there. However sheltered the port, and however calm the waters, you shall not anchor there. However welcome the hospitality that welcomes you, you are permitted to receive it but a little while, aloof and light-hearted, take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before you, the long brown path before you, leading wherever you choose. Okay. And this next one is called Walking Through the Woods. It's by, I'm never sure how to correctly pronounce his name, but Sean Quaiscan, I think would be how you say it. If anyone knows, please correct me. But yeah, he's a really great spoken word poet, actually. So I would definitely recommend, I guess if you like the one I read, to check out some of his work. He has some that are a little heavier, but this is not one of those. And yeah, since he's a spoken word poet, he reads his work very beautifully, so this one's a lovely poem, but I'm probably not even doing it justice, so it's another recommendation for today. I'm full of those this morning, apparently. So here we go, Walking Through the Woods. It's just the ocean, until you are pulling your dinner out of it, until you see firsthand everything that lives in it, until you feel the push and pull of a thing so vast, it's untamable. It's just a tree, until you see someone else release the art trapped inside it, until you need shade from the sun or reprieve from the rain, until the night steals the warmth in your blood and a cedar sacrifices its own flesh to give you fire. It's just a mountain, until you're standing at the bottom of it, face to face with it, until you take your first step to the top of it, until you reach the summit and stand eye level with the setting sun. It's just a sky, until the stars poke holes in the darkness, until the wind pushes its howl through the open air with a wildness so blatant. It sounds like a song you must dance to, and it all looks so tame, until you're there surrounded by no one, until water, earth, fire, and air rewind you to a time you once knew, until the world feels massive again, until it's just you. Okay. Yeah, Harry's doing pretty well. He hasn't chimed in with us yet. Still curled up. Probably shouldn't jinx it, but This next one, I'm not sure the full name of, but it is by Fernando Pessoa. That one was nice. Good, I'm glad you liked it. I'm sort of trying to include a range here, but let me know if you have preferences over certain styles, and I'll try to sort of stream it that way a little bit. Lovely. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed. If I could sink my teeth into the whole earth and actually taste it, I'd be happier for a moment. But I don't always want to be happy. To be unhappy now and then is part of being natural. Not all days are sunny, and when rain is scarce, we pray for it. And so I take unhappiness with happiness, naturally, just as I don't marvel that there are mountains and plains, and that there are rocks and grass. What matters is to be natural and calm, sorry for the rustling, in happiness and unhappiness, to feel as if feeling we're seeing, to think as if thinking we're walking, and to remember when death comes that each day dies, and the sunset is beautiful, and so is the light that remains. That's how it is, and how I want it to be. Nice poems. Oh, good, thanks. I'm glad you enjoy. For sure. This next one is another one that someone sent to me that I wanted to include. But I do not have a title or a poet's name, so that's not great. But here is a poem by a talented poet, I'm sure. O sweet spontaneous earth, how often have the doting fingers of Puritan philosophers pinched and poked thee, has the naughty thumb of science prodded thy beauty. How often have religions taken thee upon their scraggly knees, squeezing and buffeting thee, that thou mightest conceive gods. But true to the incomparable couch of death, thy rhythmic lover, thou answerest them only with spring. Sorry, I stumbled through that one a little. The lines were uneven. This next one is by Mary Oliver, who's another poet I really enjoy. It's called Walking Home from Oakhead. There we go. Just wanted to make sure I had the right pages there. There is something about the snow-laden sky in winter in the late afternoon that brings the heart elation and the lovely meaninglessness of time. Whenever I get home, whenever somebody loves me there. Meanwhile, I stand in the same dark peace as any pine tree. There's the dog. Sorry, So sorry, was not expecting that much of an interruption, but the doorbell rang, so he was on guard. Sorry guys for the jarring interruption from Peaceful Poetry. Where were we? In a peaceful winter forest, that's right. Meanwhile, I stand in the same dark peace as any pine tree, or wander on slowly like the still unhurried wind, waiting as for a gift, for the snow to begin, which it does, at first casually, then irrepressibly. Wherever else I live, in music, in words, in the fires of the heart, I abide just as deeply in this nameless, indivisible place, this world which is falling apart now, which is white and wild, which is faithful beyond all our expressions of faith, our deepest prayers. Don't worry, sooner or later I'll be home, red-cheeked from the roused wind. I'll stand in the doorway, stamping my boots and slapping my hands. my shoulders covered with stars. My dogs are the same. Yeah, oh my goodness. Most of the time he's totally peaceful, so I'm like, yeah, join our poetry reading today. And then, of course, the doorbell had to ring then. Hopefully I didn't, like, jolt anyone with that. Anyways, so next I will be reading, I don't know if we have any Lord of the Ring fans here, but this is a J.R.R. Tolkien piece. It's from The Two Towers, which I think is the second Lord of the Rings book. Where now are the horse and rider? Where is the horn that was blowing? Where is the helm and the hauberk, the bright hair flowing? Where is the harp on the harp string, and the red fire glowing? Where is the spring and the harvest and the tall corn growing? They have passed like rain on the mountain, like a wind in the meadow. The days have gone down in the west, behind the hills into shadow. Who shall gather the smoke of the dead wood burning, and behold the flowing years from the sea returning? Alright, so it looks like we just have a few minutes left, so what would be a good one to end on today, I wonder? I'll read a piece by Arthur O'Shaughnessy? Am I saying that right? Should probably look up these pronunciations before I start next time. Apologies. But here's a poem I quite enjoy. We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers, and sitting by desolate streams. World losers and world forsakers, on whom the pale moon gleams, yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. Okay. Alright. Oh, that one was quite short, so maybe we have time for one more, actually. That's okay. No, I can't decide. I will do, here's a kind of famous one. If by Rudyard Kipling. Maybe a good motive to send us off with today. If you can keep your head when those all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things that gave your life to unbroken, let me redo that one. Or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, and all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, Yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And what is more, you'll be a man, my son. Wonderful. Oh, a cute one from one of my animal poetry books. Okay, sorry, there may have been a delay on my end, but I'm not seeing this until now. Oh, well, if you still have it, with you, I can read that aloud. But if not, I know it is 9:30, so, yeah, I guess I will sign off. I'm sorry, I don't see the animal poem coming up. I wonder if that's a technical glitch. Facebook's been a little funky for me today. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, I'll read this to send us off. A cute, happy one. Some of mine were a bit more serious today. The fly, in the wink of an eye, can taste with his feet if the syrup is sweet or the bacon is salty. Oh, is it his fault he gets toast on his toes as he teats as he goes? That's so cute. Thank you, Natalie. That's a lovely one. Thanks for sharing that. And thank you everyone for tuning in today. Pardon for the technical glitches and the dog barking, but I still really enjoyed reading with you all today. I hope you were able to have a little rest, a little poetry enjoyment this morning, and I hope you have a lovely Thursday. I will be back next Thursday with a yoga meditation at the same time, 9 o'clock, yes. And be sure to tune in on other weekdays as my lovely colleagues have some great activities planned as well. So thanks again for tuning in. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. I loved your poetry with a thumbs up. I'm so glad. I'm glad you enjoyed. It's sometimes a little tougher to gauge what sort I should go for, but I'm glad those who showed up enjoyed. Always enjoy your real life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. Stay warm. Stay safe. Stay well. Bye. Have a nice day.